Hello and welcome to my first video, and today we will be analyzing, deducing and discussing the song that made David Bowie the star we all know and love today. Basing my knowledge on extensive internet research and personal experience with the song, we will analyze the lyrics and history of both the artist and the art. Now let's begin. The song was recorded in June 20, 1969, and it was released in July 11, 21 days after the recording session. It was made in a London studio named Trident, the writer being David Bowie and the producer Gus Dudgeon. The genre of the song is psychedelic folk rock, and space rock, because that's a genre. Now, the song shares with us a beautiful story of a character called Major Tom, who is an astronaut. That after his successful launch, he gets told by ground control that there is a malfunction with his spaceship. But Major Tom either misses the message because he is in such awe of the beauty of space, or because of this same beauty he just does not care. And we could say that he wouldn't mind staying there in that moment, and the song ends with him staying a man lost in space. This song was heavily inspired by the movie Space Odyssey 2001. The title is even a reference to that movie, just oddified. Literally, from Space Odyssey to Space Oddity. Bowie wrote it a year after its release in 1968, and it is said that he was heavily drugged when watching the film, which is interesting. But the idea is that he compares Major Tom to the astronaut in the film. Although I haven't watched it personally, I assume that the astronaut gets stuck in space. I don't know. In an interview with David Bowie, he gets asked about Major Tom and how should we interpret his position in the song, and he replies with, "At the end of the song, Major Tom is completely emotionless and expresses no view at all about where he's at. He's fragmenting. And at the end of the song, his mind is completely blown. He's everything." Now, putting ourselves in the shoes of Major Tom, he would have been the first man in space. And imagine the feeling of feeling zero gravity for the first time and the vastness of space. I too would have had my mind blown. That emptiness that Bowie describes, I believe it would also bring a feeling of disassociation, but in a way that your brain ignores everything else and it just wants to immerse itself into that moment, into space, forgetting about Earth and all that and all those humanly needs, all those emotions, the cravings of comfort or security, because his safety is not secured up there. He's alone with a broken spaceship. But what Bowie implies is that he's not scared, he's just there. He's that moment. Now, this song plays with space lingo and takes various terms from actual phrases said at official space centers. Apart from the title, for example, in the song there is ground control, when in reality it's called mission control. Then we have spaceship, when the actual term is rocket. Then we have a verse that says commencing countdown engines on. 6, 5, 4. Engines on would actually be the ignition. It is the ignition countdown of the rocket. Now, the whole song is an incredibly smart way of connecting the oddity that is David Bowie and the amazingness that is the idea of space launch and exploration. Now, did you know that the story of Major Tom, a beloved figure that became a famous character with other artists who also mentioned them in some of their songs, like the other famous space song, Major Tom and Mrs. Major Tom. This character that Bowie created actually has a more extensive story than we might think. All these songs that I'll mention are made by David Bowie, as it is his character. We first have the song Space Oddity, where we get the mention of Major Tom. We get the first mention of Major Tom going out to space and getting lost. Then we have the song Ashes to Ashes, which is where Major Tom is able to contact ground control and send a message. We have verses like, "Do you remember a guy who's been in such an early song?" The phrase, "in such an early song," I'm guessing it refers to his first global hit song and its character. "I've heard a rumor from ground control. Oh no, don't say it's true. They got a message from the Action Man," which is Major Tom. "I'm happy, hope you're happy too. I've loved all I needed. Sordid details following." I interpret this as the message Tom sent to Earth while floating in space, telling them that I guess they don't need to worry about him anymore and he's okay. Further in the song, we get this verse: "Ashes to ashes, funk to funky, we know Major Tom's a junkie. Strung out in heaven's high, hitting an all-time low. Now, I mentioned before that Bowie was inspired to write Space Oddity by watching Space Odyssey. While doing so, he was high out of his mind. And it's been known that he struggled with drugs. And music, I believe, is therapeutical. And a way to be able to get these emotions and thoughts out of your system. And it helps the artist to deal with these types of addictions. Now, in the song Ashes to Ashes, we get this line. We know Major Tom's a junkie, referencing to his drug problem, and it kind of puts a new narrative to Space Odyssey. And it makes you wonder if Major Tom ever really went to space, and those emotions of nothingness and awe that Bowie describes could have just been the effects of the drug, which is, I guess, what drugs make you do. You know, they make you take your ability away to feel. We also have another line to back up this theory, which is the next. Strung out in heaven's high, hitting an all-time low. We can interpret heaven's high as space, the place where Major Tom is currently in, and then an all-time low, the after effects of the drugs. Ashes to Ashes was an amazing second part to Major Tom's story, in my opinion. But the story don't stop there, cowboy. Oh no, we have a part 3. Yes, sir. We have another song called Hello Space Boy, which is speculated to be how ground control says goodbye to Major Tom. And in the song, we get verses like, bye bye space boy, bye bye love, moon dust will cover you. It doesn't actually say the words Major Tom, but the fact that it says bye bye space boy convinces me enough to consider it a goodbye from ground control to Major Tom, saying that he belongs to the space dust now. Is this the end of our beloved Major Tom? Nope! We get another song, but this one was made years later, in 2015. The song is called Black Star, which is the death of Major Tom. It doesn't say it in the lyrics, but it is implied in the music video, because we see a dead astronaut in the beginning, so I'm speculating it's Major Tom. And like David Bowie died a year after its release of the song in 2016, it would have been a way to end his story and bring our beloved character's fate to an end. Now, you're probably wondering, what about Starman? You know, the other David Bowie song? Cool, Starman, Starman. You mean the song that became popular some time ago because of a Disney animated film? No! Okay, I had some trouble fitting that song into the mix. Because first of all, in the research that I found, not a single article put Starman into the story of Major Tom. Now, here's the thing, is that it kind of has no chronological order, because we can add it to either before Ashes to Ashes or after. Starman is a tale of a man out in space being scared to interact with Earth. Now, if we put it before Ashes to Ashes, Major Tom would be new to outer space, and he doesn't want to come back down to Earth to share his experience, you know? And he kind of got that nickname of Starman. Now, if we put it after Ashes to Ashes, we could say that there was a time skip where he went out to explore space, and then, since time works differently in space, he sort of like comes back years later, and then people don't remember him as Major Tom anymore, and they just know him as this Starman, right? So, you can see why this song didn't really fit with me, and why I stayed with this chronological order, without including Starman. Personally, I have no trouble with the song. It's an amazing song. It makes no sense. Moving on from the lyrics and story of the song, there are 3 primary studio versions of the song. We have the album version from the David Bowie album, which is 5 minutes and 15 seconds, released in 1969. Then we have the UK single edit with 4 minutes and 32 seconds, also released in 1969. Then we have the US single edit, which is the shortest version with 3 minutes and 22 seconds, released in 1972. But the song was remastered so many times. 1999, 2009, 2015, 2019, and 2023. I mean, even recently we got another David Bowie song called Ziggy Stardust, which I believe is another character of David Bowie. Now, if you have Spotify and search Space Oddity, in the first one that comes up is the 2015 version. I'm guessing because it's the one that blew up most recently, and I also believe that it's the boogiest version of them all. Now, some fun facts of this song and IRL situations. Well, actually, just one fun fact. So, the time frame of the movie and the song, specifically in 1969, July 16, 1969, was the first time a manned spaceflight successfully launched and reached outer space, the Apollo 11. The coincidence of the movie, then the hit song, then the launch is just amazing. In 2 years, all of that happened. Imagine being a kid in those years, already having the idea of epic sci-fi space exploration, and then an awesome freaking movie comes out, and then a year later, a pop of songs comes out, and then in that actual year, an actual rocket launch. How? I mean, it just blows my mind. Now, there was a type of dilemma between the song and the launch. The launch of Apollo 11 was on July 16th. Bowie released the song 5 days before the launch on the 11th. Now, between the launch time and its return, which was 24th of July, 13 days, the song had been out in the world. 8 of those days, the Apollo 11 was in space. In those remaining 5 days, the song became a total hit in the UK. And when it reached the US, they actually banned the song because it became a killjoy to the rocket launch. I mean, the idea of getting stuck in space wasn't really a motivation to the first men strapping themselves to a rocket and flying off the planet. But the fun part of this fact is that on the return of the rocket, they obviously streamed it on every TV in the world, and the executives of the BBC broadcast didn't like the song and decided not to play it on the day of the landing. But apparently, not everyone got the memo, and the ones handling the media coverage didn't know it was banned and played it in the background when Apollo 11 landed. And in my opinion, was the best mistake in the history of space music. I mean, I would have loved to see that masterpiece of a media, a simple miscommunication between people provoked. Really, anyone who did see that broadcast was one blessed individual. Well, that concludes today's video. It really has been a pleasure to make this. I love investigating all of this. And if you tolerated all my yapping and made it to the end of this video, you are a real one for real, for real. If you like it, good. If not, please tell me why in the comments. It helps me for future videos. If you want, subscribe and share. Goodbye and take care of yourselves.